Hi guys. So today we're going to talk about value proposition. I wanted to do a quick little workshop style video because earlier this month I gave an actual workshop. We had 150 people sign up. I don't think we had that many on the actual call, but anyway, it was all about what you actually need to include on your business website as a small business. And I want to do kind of a drill down into one of the most important elements that I gave in that presentation, which is all about value proposition. Because in the year of 2022, I worked with over 60 small businesses, 64 to be exact. And I can tell you that most of them struggle with the value proposition. They either don't really know what it is, they have one, but it's hidden somewhere deep on the website. They're not leading with it. And it's super, super important for you to be leading with your value proposition because that's actually what paves the way for sales. So let's get into it. The cat is over here, and I'm for sure he's going to crash this presentation at some point. Okay, so value proposition, what it is and why you absolutely 100% without a doubt need one. Why you need one. Okay, so why is a value proposition important? Well, a value proposition communicates your value to prospective clients and customers. And like I mentioned, it paves the way for leads to turn into clients. So where does your value proposition live? Usually it lives on your website. And I know some of you might be thinking like, oh, websites are so passe, like they're overrated and I don't really need a website. And I've been told that I don't need a website because there are many people within the online business space, marketers that say like, you just need a funnel and you can just run ads to a funnel, or you just need social media, or you don't need to waste time creating a website. The reason that I say that you need that your value proposition usually lives on your website is because if it doesn't live on your website, then that indicates to me that you're probably not leading with your value proposition anywhere else. Like if it's not on your website at the very least, it's probably not going to show up in all of the other areas of your business where you would need to have it, which is like everywhere. So that's why I really like to start with the website. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of websites. I think websites are great because what do people do when they find out about your business? They Google you. So why is it important that your value proposition is front and center on your website or your funnel, wherever you're going to put it? Well, because you have 3 seconds to capture somebody's attention online. So if somebody lands on your website, you have 3 seconds to convince them that they want to continue to read. And if not, they're out. And this is a statistic that I think comes from Nielsen, and that's 70% of B2B businesses don't actually show their value on their homepage. And that's a problem because that's where you're going to land, right? When you Google a business, you're landing on a homepage. The top 2 ways that people research your business online, that customers will research your business online, are reviews and your business website. Okay, so those are the top 2 ways. Like people aren't really going on to Instagram, if you think about it, to look for reviews about your business. Even if you have posts and reels about testimonials and things that you're doing, that's great. But for the most part, people want to be able to find out more about you. And they're going to either look at your reviews, your testimonials, and they're going to look at your website. And in most cases, your testimonials are living on your website. So really, what's the answer? Your website. Okay. Your website is basically like home base. That's how I like to think about it. It's home base. Think of it as like, this is the core of who you are. It's the core of your values. It expresses why you're different, why you matter, why, somebody should do business with you in particular, right? It's almost like you can think about it as like the home base of your personality. We all have sort of core traits, and those traits get expressed differently depending on the different situations that we may find ourselves in, whether we're making small talk at a cocktail party, or we're having a deep conversation with a really close friend, or we are getting to know somebody. Like the way that our values and who we are get expressed will shift slightly depending on the situation. But at the end of the day, your core values are your core values, and who you are is who you are, right? From a personality standpoint. And so it's the same thing with your website. It's the home base. It's really where your core messaging lives, okay? And your website should be communicating what you do in a way that will make others care and actually take an action. And that's the most important part, right? It's not just like, oh, that's nice. It's what is the next step that you want them to take after that? That's how your website primes people to eventually become clients. And so how do we do this? We do this because there is a subconscious question on everyone's mind when they go to your website. And that is, am I in the right place? Am I in the right place? Is this for me? Is this going to work for me? Does this address my concerns? Does this address where I want to go, right? Is this the place for me? Am I in the right place? Unfortunately, most businesses don't answer this question. They lose out on potential clients. And obviously, at the end of the day, we lose out on opportunities to make an impact, opportunities to make revenue, all those juicy things. So the good news is that you can totally fix this. You do it by doing something you do every single day, and that's talking like a human. Okay. So I want to give you some examples just written out, and then we're going to look at some actual home pages so you can see this out in the wild. So think about it from this perspective, right? Basically, the two most important elements are you're going to be addressing who you're talking to, and you're going to be addressing what it is you do, but really, it's not just what you do, it's more about that end result that the person that you're trying to get as a client cares about. So you're addressing their actual desires. So for example, bookkeeping, taxes, and accounting for fully remote businesses, right? I mean, there's tons of accountants out there who have websites, but if you dictate, when you specify in that value proposition that you actually help fully remote businesses, now you're speaking to a different audience. And the rest of that website should be addressing some of the pain points of being a fully remote business, some of the pain points of doing, online invoicing and weird cost structures and all that good stuff. Okay. Facials and beauty treatments. So people will compliment your skin and not your makeup. I worked with a client this year who's an esthetician, and this is 100% what her target audience wanted, right? They wanted people to compliment them on their skin and how beautiful their skin looks. So this is something that you could use to stand apart if you are an esthetician, right? Here's another one. Experts in keeping your marble floors shiny and damage-free for over 30 years. So if you have been in business for a really long time, you can absolutely use that as a piece that speaks to your authority. Somebody who's been in business for 30 years, specializing in this area, you would assume has amassed a lot of knowledge in this particular industry, right? So this is an example for somebody who's a floor expert. Or let's talk baked goods, yummy, artisan brownies and cookies without preservatives, right? So yeah, you could have artisan brownies and cookies, but these are artisan brownies and cookies without preservatives, right? So this assumes that we're speaking to an audience that cares about the preservatives, that cares about not having stuff in their food that doesn't necessarily need to be there. They want something that is artisanal and handmade and beautiful and delicious, but they don't want the preservatives and the weird stuff. Okay, so these are some examples in the wild. So this is a weighted blanket, okay? The best weighted blanket to reduce stress and fall asleep faster. Right away, they're telling you what the benefits are of this product. So if you're somebody who has trouble sleeping, or if you're somebody who is anxiety prone, well, this is helping you to understand, oh, this is going to address those concerns for me, right? The end result, somebody who has anxiety, what do they want? Not have anxiety, right? They want to eliminate that stress, reduce that stress. Somebody who can't fall asleep and is sitting there tossing and turning for hours, well, they want to fall asleep faster. So right out the gate, we are expressing those things that they want. Okay, the Hush will provide you with a constant, comforting hug whenever it's needed. That's nice. That gives us a cozy kind of vibe, right? And then something else that they do really well is they have this like little thing here with the star ratings. So especially if you have a product that is new or something that is more intangible, it's good to have either a testimonial or a review kind of closer up at the top of your website to help people understand, right? So this is a newer product to the market, so having those reviews lends credibility. Here's one. This is Terry Rice. This isn't the very top of his website, but I thought this was the most relevant. So he is a business consultant, kind of like this, he's a business consultant, and he basically is a consultant for consultants, right? I guess is how I would describe him. But he also works with major businesses and things like that. So what he has on his website is attract clients and partners who are willing to pay you what you're worth. So already we're talking to a very specific audience, right? We're talking to somebody who has clients and partners, but maybe they're feeling like they're not actually getting paid what they want. Maybe they feel like they're getting underpaid. Maybe they don't know how to charge, right? Do you need help finding clients who value you as a business partner, not just a service provider? Okay, so somebody who's a consultant and is trying to go out there in the world might want to be seen as more of a strategic partner, right? So we're already addressing those subconscious concerns that somebody has that will, remember, make them feel like I'm in the right place. The next line, are you unsure how to position, package, or price your service or offering? Or maybe you just need a second set of eyes. Do you need someone to help you streamline your business development process so you can focus on providing value for your audience? I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs monetize their knowledge so they can get paid for who they are instead of just what they do. So that's, for his particular audience, it's going to be really juicy and intriguing and interesting because he's speaking directly to what their concerns are and what they ultimately want. This is not going to appeal to everyone out there. He knows what his audience is. And that's why it's really important that you know who you're speaking to, you know what their problem is, and that you're not using generalities, because when you're general, it's not going to land with anyone. And then you're going to have a hard time connecting with people. Here's another one. This is a type of software. It's like a software management. So manage your business, not your website. Website management plans for WordPress and Joomla-based websites, right? So this is great because immediately they're talking to the pain points. Don't have time to learn web technology yourself, short on in-house staff with the specialized skills necessary to effectively maintain, manage, and grow your website. We can help. So this is for the small business owner who's like, I don't have time to be updating the website. I have other more important things to be doing. I want somebody to just manage this for me. That's speaking directly to them, right? Short on in-house staff with the knowledge, right? Don't have time to figure it out yourself? Hire us. So this is an example I wanted to give you. Sometimes I see this with coaches and consultants, especially if they have a video. Okay, I love videos. I think videos on your website are great. It's a great way for somebody to get a feel for you, to get a sense of your energy. Okay. 99% of the time, okay, what the person is saying in the video is a gold, and it's not in the text on the website. Okay. And the issue with that is that not everybody's going to watch the video, right? So for example, this is a completely random person. I don't know this person. I just Googled and I found them. Okay. So look at this first point here. This is a nutrition coach. Is your vision of your best self a vision that includes tasty food, active living, and being free from pills to treat chronic diseases? Okay. In this video, she, Julie here, actually talks about getting off of cholesterol pills, like high cholesterol pills. That already is more specific. It's more juicy to the mind, right? As specific as you can be, is the direction that I want you to go in. Like, try to get as specific as you can, because that will always create more of a gut response and an emotional response in somebody than more generalized language, right? Like, she could even take this one line and chop it into 3 things, right? And be like, do you want to get off your high cholesterol medication, right? Do you want to live a life where you can eat tasty food and not just have to eat carrots and celery at the holiday party? I don't know, right? This is probably not the best example, but you get what I'm saying, right? You kind of get the idea, right? Active living, right? Do you want to be able to get up and go and not feel limited in your mobility or whatever, right? These are all just kind of examples, but getting as specific as possible is super helpful. And if you are doing this, like if you already have this on your website, you have a video and then you have text, watch the video, because I bet you said some things in the video that are not here, and I want you to put them here. Okay, here's another one. This is a candle company. Okay, number one thing. We all need to lose this. If you have this on your website, I need you to change it, like right now. Like right now, you need to change this. Welcome to blah, blah, blah business. Unless you're going to use that phrase in a more creative way, like welcome to pain-free living, welcome to the, life of your dream. Like, unless you're going to use it to say more, I want you to reconsider this, because that at the beginning is not actually speaking to me, right? I already know that I'm here because I found you on Google. Like, you don't need to tell me welcome, hi, hello, like cut this because it's just filler. We don't need it. Okay. These are interesting looking candles, right? The vessels look different from what you would typically see. Okay. We hand pour each candle made special just for you in Adele, Georgia, right? That's cool. If you have any more questions, please call us, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, Nelly, I just met you. I'm not calling you. I don't know you. I don't even know if I have any questions because you haven't really told me much. Okay. And I'm not saying that everything has to go at the very top of your website above the fold, but they could probably include a line here about how, these are not your average candles, maybe something about the wax, or we use whatever vessels, right? Like something just to give me a little bit more before they dive into contact me. And you really shouldn't have your number up at the top, like either included in a bar, included in a pop-up, have it on your contact page. But it's just a little too presumptuous. It's like when you go onto the website and the pop-up comes up, like you've literally just landed on the website and you're like, excuse me, I don't know you. Like, I don't even know what I haven't even read anything. And you're already like, hi, join my email list. No, you're going to turn people off that way. Okay. Another one we all know, MailChimp, right? Build your brand, sell more stuff. Very simple, very effective. MailChimp is the world's largest marketing and automation platform. It's like a second brain that helps millions of customers from small e-commerce shops to big online retailers find their audience, engage their customers, build their brand. They basically just summed up like, these are the 3 steps, of what our business does. And this is really the most important piece. You want to build your brand as a business and you want to sell more stuff. Here's another really great one, HoneyBook. Everything you need to get business done. Over 100,000 independent businesses trust HoneyBook to manage projects, book clients, send invoices, and get paid. So again, they're giving you a little taste of all the things that they do. This is a, start free trial. And look, they're already addressing the concern, right? Because most people see start free trial and they're like, oh, you're going to take my credit card and I'm going to forget to cancel it. And then you're going to rope me into some contract that I wasn't aware of, right? No credit card required. I got you. Be cool, honey bunny. We're good, right? That's what they're telling you by including this line here. Okay. I find that with coaches and consultants, because that's usually who I work with, essentially coaches and consultants are selling something that is intangible, which means that the value proposition has to be as tangible as possible and as specific as possible, because you're not really selling, you're not selling a physical product. You're not even selling a software, right? So it's very important that you're taking something that is essentially intangible and that you're grounding it. And so that you're actually telling people what that value proposition is. And sometimes it's helpful to look at companies like HoneyBook or like MailChimp, right? Because even though you could say this is more tangible because it's an actual software, like you're going to go type in somewhere, at least it's something that's made up, right? Like if you think about coaching and consulting, like it's made up. Like it's just knowledge. It's coming from your mind. It has tangible results in the real world, but it's harder to position. And so I think that's why people struggle so much with the value proposition, is because you're trying to describe something that's sort of indescribable. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I think this is the last example. So this is an actual hair salon in Miami. So one of the simplest things that you can do, not just on your homepage, but everywhere, is look at your text. If you have big blocks of text like this, people are not going to read this. Online, our paragraphs need to be 2 to 3 lines max. Okay, think of it like a sentence or 2, because you need white space. The words need space to breathe, especially if you're looking at this on a phone. It's overwhelming and the brain is lazy and the brain goes, not reading that. No, not doing it. So, unless the brain really wants to read it. But just to make your life easier, spacing is one of the easiest things you can do. Your Instagram captions, your emails, everywhere. If you have big blocks of text like this, change it. And I guarantee you people will actually start reading it more. That wasn't the last one. This one, promoting too many things. Okay. So this salon is talking about their instructional classes. They're talking about their spa services. They're talking about just so many things in this one tiny paragraph. It's like they're trying to fit in every single possible service in one thing. So I would advise them to dial it back. Think about what's the most important thing that they want somebody to know in this moment. Maybe it is the technical classes. If like enrollment is happening now, maybe that's the number one thing you want to promote, right? Your website is a living, breathing thing, so you should be updating it accordingly with what you have going on. And don't feel like you have to get it all squeezed in there, right? I mean, they could really just cut this. Our experience has a variety of beauty services for men and women, and then that's it. Like, we don't need all this other stuff. And again, with the number, no, too much too soon. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. This one I thought was really cool because aside from being very visually appealing, it's not what you would expect with a product like this. We canned a feeling. Right? It's different. It's a little bit creative. They could have easily talked about the ingredients or the process or the flavors or all manner of other things, but they're talking about how they canned a feeling. And when you think about drinking something out of a can or a bottle or whatever, right? There's something ritualistic about it, about sitting down with a cup of tea, about having a beer, right? It's a hot day and you crack open a beer. I don't really drink beer, so for me, it would be a Sauvignon Blanc, but you get the idea, right? It's this idea of that feeling of like, I'm going to have a little moment for myself. Okay. Now they take this a step further with a sentence underneath: drinks and powders to help you feel calm, cool, collected, despite the stressful world around you. So I'm assuming that these are like adaptogens. They have some kind of like stress reducing ingredients in here. There's probably more if you were to scroll on this website, but that tells you enough where if you're in the market for this kind of product or you are their target audience, you would probably continue to read and you probably would be intrigued. Okay. So that's what I've got for you with your value proposition. It is so important. And your value proposition is really part of your core messaging. And that is what I geek out about. And that is what I'm a nerd about, because I think that it's the most important thing in copywriting in general. Like, there's no amount of Dawson, baby. Can't remember. Come, baby. Yeah, so keep coming here. Okay. So there's no amount of clever copywriting that you can do that will fix a core messaging issue. So if you don't have your core messaging down and you don't know what that is, then you can stop right now. I'll save you a ton of time and money. Don't invest in some type of online marketing course. Don't invest in another book, another free online resource. Like, don't waste your time consuming all of this content and trying to figure out all of the bells and whistles, sales pages and ad copy and how to write an email welcome sequence. Like, all of those things are necessary, but first and foremost, you need to know what your core messaging is. You need to know what your value proposition is, because everything else comes from that. Okay, to use another analogy, it's like to dress your body well, you need to know what kind of body type you have. You need to know what you're working with, right? What looks good on somebody who is a very straight figure is not going to look as good as somebody who has an hourglass. There's certain things that look good on certain body types, right? And so you need to know what that core messaging is so that then you can find those items, right, of clothing that are going to help you stand out and look your best. You're going to find the right email sequence. You're going to find the right, copy for your social media content. You're going to find even the right content to create, period. But you can't do any of that unless you have your core messaging. And most businesses start in the reverse, because of course you get into business and you're like, oh, I'm in business now, so I'm going to start doing all the things. But they're doing all the things without first establishing that core messaging. So you're kind of working like outward in when you should be working inward out. So if during this little mini workshop video, you've realized, hey, actually, I don't think I know what my value proposition is, and I don't know what my core messaging is, then I highly, highly recommend that you consider working with me on this, because this is the process that will uncover not only what your value proposition is, but what makes you special, what makes you different. And that's my gift, and that's my knack, is being able to look at your business, being able to hear you talk about it, discuss it, and immediately start pulling together, oh, this and this and this and this and this and this. There's a reason why I describe it as kind of the Cinderella treatment for your business, because Cinderella was this character, if you will, that had all of this value, right? This kind, wonderful person but she was sleeping in the ashes, right? She was discarded, she was disregarded. And then the fairy godmother comes along and is like, doo-doo-doo-doo, and then she looks amazing, right? She's in this beautiful gown. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, wow, look at that, right? That's what core messaging does in your business. So somebody who would have gone to your website before and was like, whatever, and kind of looked around and then left, after you get your core messaging down, they're going to be sucked in. And they're like, oh, wait a second, hold on, right? They're going to be drawn in. And so it's just the number one thing that you can do to help pave the way for clients is make sure that your core messaging is on point. And this is something that you should be looking at about once a year. You might not have to rewrite the whole thing every year once you have it down, but every business could benefit from looking at their core messaging at least once a year, because your business is evolving, your clients are evolving, your services are probably also evolving. And so it's just a good idea. It's a good practice. It'll help you pave the way so that when you do have that sales process, it's less, there's less friction in it. You won't feel like you're trying to convince somebody. It's like more like, we're just going to talk. And if you have questions, and we're going to iron out the details, right? Like, isn't that what you dream of? Don't you dream of getting onto a sales call or getting into a discovery call with somebody and it just flows and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I absolutely want to work with you. Can you tell me about your packages, right? Isn't that what you want to get to? That's what I want to get to. I don't want to have to do this song and dance and like try to convince you like core messaging is the best and you need it. Like either you resonated with this or you didn't. And if you did, and you're open to this and something that you want to work on, then I'm here for you. If not, then that's cool too. But there isn't this feeling of like, oh, I have to make it happen. I have to convince you and I have to answer all the objections and whatever. This kind of helps you when you have your core messaging in place. It helps you eliminate the need for going so ham on the objections and on the convincing you and selling you my value, because you've already done that work up front. It's pretty awesome. And you will also fall in love with your business, which I think is like the actual best thing you could do energetically for your business, is to be in love with your own business. Okay, I've rambled enough. So I hope this was helpful. This little mini workshop. I hope you enjoyed my little, my TA, teacher's assistant. I don't know. He's so cute. Okay, bye.